Welcome to another Demarcation Media Mega Construx review. Today we are going to be taking a look at another drop pod. This is the Operation Flood Hunter drop pod. Once again, I just want to say a big thanks to Kev who lent me these drop pods. He lent me 3 of them to review because I had no luck tracking them down in my stores around me. So big thanks to him for providing these so I can make these videos. So if you've seen my other 2 drop pod reviews, you will know that there's a bit of a formula here that Mega used. So there's not going to be a ton of surprises, but this pod in particular really stands out to me. And we will get to why in a minute. But let's take a look at that ODST. Alrighty, here he is. This is the ODST himself. So the funny thing is I actually have this figure. I just never got the pod. I think I got the dude in a trade or something. So I've actually played around with this figure quite a bit. I still haven't taken a photo of him, which is kind of a crime because it's a really nice figure. So first of all, he has his flamethrower because he is a flood hunter, and that means the best weapon he could have is a flamethrower. Well, I mean, a rocket launcher would be good too, but a flamethrower is a little better. And it comes with this epic flame piece. I love these flame pieces so much. They look so good. The shaping is really nice. The way that it's like yellow near the end and then kind of turns darker up here, and there's like the red kind of flowing through it is great. And that piece right there is why I say, one of the reasons why I say this drop pod stands out a little bit. Because none of the other ones so far have had a weapon that stood out quite so much as the flamethrower and its fire. The flamethrower itself is black with some yellow markings on the little, like, what are these things even? Armor plating. Just so you know, it goes to this dude. And then the ODST himself is in kind of a metallic gray with yellow as his highlight color and then silver as the rest of his, like, armor highlight color. He has one of those little bands, I'm assuming is like ammo. Fingerless gloves, of course, and the ODST print on his chest. Now, one thing I have noticed is that the yellow is not as crisp as it could be. Like on my figure and on the one I borrowed from Kev, the yellow just is kind of a little bit rough in some places, and looks like the stripe on the head is a little off-center. I don't know if mine is off-center, but I can say for sure that mine has the kind of funny-looking see-through-ish print on the chest. And that's in part just because painting or printing light colors on dark surfaces can be a little difficult and lead to some weird kind of translucent stuff. But the sloppiness is just Mega getting a little sloppy. The visor is nice, though. You got some black there, and then the visor is kind of a metallic blue. Blends into the helmet a lot, but I think it looks pretty good. He has a sniper shoulder, which seems to be a trend with these drop pod sets, and I am not complaining because that sniper shoulder piece is really cool. Overall, very, very nice figure. I like how versatile this guy is. He could be put into any scene, and he would look perfectly at home. My one complaint, aside from the print, is that this guy in particular seems to have a problem with his arm coming out. Now, of course, as I'm saying it, it's not happening. So maybe I just hadn't popped it in all the way. But yeah, I was posing him earlier and his arm kept falling off. But yeah, very cool figure. And the fact that he's got a flamethrower is a huge plus. He also comes with a stand, which is usually like a sand piece, but you could imagine that this is also some sort of flood biomass that he is standing on, which is kind of a disturbing thought, actually. And here is the pod itself. So as I said, this is pretty standard. Like, there's nothing really surprising here. It follows the same design, same pretty much everything as the previous pods. It's got the air brakes, which are helicopter-y ones. Unfortunately, they like to just fall off, which is a bummer. But again, Sticky Tack might fix that. Can't speak. Now, the pod itself, that is what is standing out to me. Actually, I just realized, I think some of these are put on wrong. Yeah, there we go. Those were just snapped on wrong. The print, all of those warning symbols just are amazing. And then the dark colors makes this pod, if you just want one single pod to have in your collection, I would say this is the one to get, because all of the warning symbols and the dark colors make this look like just a drop pod you could see in any situation. It just looks really, really nice. It looks kind of intimidating because there's so many warning symbols. It reminds you that, yes, these are little rooms that they drop from outer space all the way down to get the soldiers in as quick as possible. And that just kind of is made as a big statement here by the fact that there's all of these warning symbols, like don't stand by this because it's going to drop out of the floor. We have those little backpack detail pieces. Yellow for those, if you wanted to reuse them as backpacks, isn't as helpful as like silver. But actually, let me go ahead and stick it on just so that you can get an idea of what I mean. Ew, wow, it's really hard to get on there. But yeah, it would basically be like that if you wanted to fiddle it all the way in. And then the coolest detail, I think, is the fact that the bottom is flecked with these orangey specks, which makes it look like it landed in flood biomass, and that is absolutely disgusting and a really, really nice touch. It looks like it came smashing down and got splattered with junk, and then the ODST just hopped out and went to work. And I was supposed to pop the door there. There we go. Have him hop out and just start flaming everything. I think that's really cool. Same drill with putting him in. You'd put him in, stick him to the seat back there, and then I don't know if you could actually get this to fit. If you could, it would be a bit of a hassle. You know what? For the sake of science, we will give it a shot. So he's kind of stuck in there. Okay, so if you want him to be attached, he won't fit with his flamethrower. But if you don't mind just tossing him in there, then I think, yeah, you can just kind of set him in and the flamethrower will go too. So that's pretty nice. I honestly would probably recommend you just set the figure in there anyway, just because it's a kind of a hassle to get him in and out. Well, there you have it. That is the Operation Flood Hunter drop pod. So far, in my opinion, this is the best drop pod. I actually would like to do a comparison video with all four of the drop pods that I have right now together, and just so we can see them all side by side. But this, to me, is the most versatile pod because of the dark colors, because of the warning prints. The ODST is very toned down. He's got really nice colors. And the flamethrower and the flame piece is just amazing. And I think that everybody should have at least one of these little setups right here in their collection. And of course, it's flood related, so I'm sure that'll make this popular with a lot of people. Although, unfortunately, they don't give us any actual like infection forms. But if you got any of the Clash on the Ring blind bags, you'll have a couple of infection forms for this guy to toast and make them into true little bits of popcorn. I think this is also one of the slightly easier to get pods. I say easier, but it's really a relative term. If you find a nice seller, you might be able to get it for 15 to 20, which in my opinion is fair. If you find it at Big Lots, you can get it for 8, which is really epic, and you should grab it right away. But a lot of the times, you will find people charging upwards of 25 or even upwards of 30 for it. And I say, don't pay that. It's not worth that much. Like, yes, it's a very cool set. It's a very cool pod, but $30+, and that's asking too much for one pod and one figure. So overall, absolutely fantastic. That I just can't get over how good that print looks, that warning print. Highly, highly recommend this one. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time.